If you choose to click forward right now instead of postponing again, here is the claim you can hold on to with certainty. Your life will begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more controlled, not because problems magically disappear, but because you finally stop running from your own potential and start directing it. The first benefit you will notice is mental relief, because action immediately reduces the background noise of guilt, overthinking, and self-doubt that has been quietly draining you for years. And when that noise fades, your mind gains space to think clearly instead of constantly defending excuses. With clarity comes confidence, not the loud confidence of motivation highs, but the quiet confidence of knowing you are finally doing what you promised yourself you would do, and that confidence stabilizes your emotions so you stop swinging between hope and frustration. This click is not symbolic, it is practical, because the moment you choose movement over delay, you reclaim control over your time, and control over time is control over life. Instead of days slipping away unnoticed, your days begin to feel intentional, and intentional days build intentional lives. Another immediate benefit is energy, because procrastination consumes more energy than effort ever will, and once you stop carrying unfinished decisions in your head, your body and mind feel lighter and more capable. This energy fuels consistency, and consistency creates momentum, and momentum is the invisible force that makes progress feel natural instead of forced. With momentum, discipline stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like alignment, because your actions finally match your values. Alignment removes inner conflict, and inner conflict is one of the biggest sources of stress people never talk about. When conflict disappears, peace increases, and peace does not mean ease, it means stability. The kind of stability that allows you to handle pressure without collapsing. Clicking into action also builds self-trust, because every completed task sends your brain a signal that your word matters, and once you trust yourself, doubt loses its power to slow you down. Self-trust speeds up decision-making, reduces hesitation, and saves years of wasted effort. As your decisions become cleaner, your focus sharpens, because focus is easier when you are not constantly negotiating with yourself. Focused effort produces better results in less time, which increases competence, and competence creates confidence that cannot be taken away by opinion or circumstance. This is one of the strongest claims of disciplined action. It makes you emotionally independent, because your sense of worth no longer depends on validation, comparison, or approval. Emotional independence frees you from chasing attention and allows you to invest fully in growth. Growth compounds. And compounding is how ordinary effort turns into extraordinary results over time. Another benefit of clicking forward is reduced regret, because regret is born from avoidance, not failure, and even imperfect action builds pride while inaction builds disappointment. Pride rooted in effort is stable and motivating, and it encourages you to continue rather than quit. As you continue, your habits improve, your standards rise, and your tolerance for distraction decreases naturally, because progress makes distractions feel expensive. Time becomes valuable once you see results. Connected to effort, this awareness protects your attention, and protected attention accelerates learning, skill development, and mastery. Mastery is not perfection, it is reliability, and reliable people attract trust. Trust creates opportunity in careers, relationships, and leadership. Opportunity expands your options, and options reduce fear, because fear thrives where choices feel limited. With more options, you act from intention instead of desperation. Intention produces better outcomes. Better outcomes reinforce belief. Belief sustains discipline. This self-reinforcing cycle is the real promise of clicking into action now. Disciplined action also improves emotional regulation, because repeated exposure to discomfort trains your nervous system to remain calm under pressure, making challenges feel manageable rather than overwhelming. Calm under pressure is a rare advantage, and rarity increases value. Value increases influence. Influence expands impact. Impact gives meaning to effort, and meaning sustains long-term commitment. Commitment carried over time builds legacy, not fame, but reliability, respect, and internal satisfaction. Clicking forward also improves patience, because action teaches you to respect time instead of rushing outcomes. Patience allows you to stay consistent during slow phases without panic. Panic leads to shortcuts. Shortcuts weaken foundations. And weak foundations collapse under growth. Strong foundations support expansion. Expansion handled with discipline leads to sustainable success rather than burnout. Burnout usually comes from emotional urgency and inconsistent effort, not from steady discipline. Disciplined pacing conserves energy and increases longevity. Longevity multiplies results because compounding requires time. Clicking forward also sharpens awareness, because doing reveals what thinking cannot. Feedback from action improves judgment. Better judgment saves years of trial and error. As judgment improves, priorities become clearer, distractions lose appeal, and focus deepens. Deep focus produces higher quality work. Higher quality work attracts recognition and reward. Recognition earned through consistency is stable, unlike attention earned through hype. Disciplined action also strengthens identity, because over time you stop trying to be disciplined and simply become disciplined. Identity change is the deepest benefit of action, because behavior driven by identity feels natural instead of forced. When discipline becomes identity, effort no longer requires motivation. Motivation becomes optional. This reduces emotional volatility and increases stability. Stability improves decision-making. Better decisions lead to better outcomes. Better outcomes reinforce belief. Belief sustains action. This upward spiral is the true claim behind clicking forward now. Another powerful benefit is improved relationships, because disciplined individuals communicate clearly, respect boundaries, and show up reliably. Reliability builds trust. Trust strengthens connection. Strong connections support collaboration. Collaboration multiplies results. Multiplied results increase confidence. Increased confidence supports leadership. Leadership rooted in discipline inspires rather than intimidates. People follow consistency more than charisma. Clicking forward also improves physical and mental health by reducing stress, improving sleep quality, and increasing a sense of purpose. Purpose organizes effort, reduces burnout, and increases satisfaction. Satisfaction grounded in progress is deeper and more sustainable than pleasure grounded in comfort. Comfort without progress leads to stagnation. Stagnation leads to frustration. Frustration leads to disengagement. Action breaks this cycle immediately. Action creates hope based on evidence rather than wishful thinking. Evidence strengthens belief. Belief fuels persistence. Persistence increases probability of success. Probability favors those who stay. Staying is the hidden advantage most people never develop. Disciplined action also builds courage gradually, not dramatic courage, but quiet courage expressed through steadiness. Steadiness allows you to endure criticism, uncertainty, and delay without abandoning direction. Endurance compounds progress while quitting resets it. Quitting feels like relief but creates long-term regret. Action feels uncomfortable but creates long-term pride. Pride built on effort supports self-respect. Self-respect changes how you speak, move, and decide. This presence influences how others respond to you. Opportunities begin to align because you are prepared to receive them. Preparedness is discipline expressed over time. Disciplined people recognize opportunity faster and act decisively. Decisive action increases leverage. Leverage creates freedom. Freedom allows you to design life intentionally rather than reactively. Reactive living is survival. Intentional living is leadership. Clicking forward is the shift from survival to leadership. The ultimate claim of this click is not instant success, but permanent direction. Direction removes confusion. Confusion drains energy. Energy restored fuels consistency. Consistency compounds results. Compounded results change identity. Changed identity changes destiny. Destiny shaped by daily action is reliable, not random. Reliable progress builds peace, confidence, and control. Control reduces fear. Reduced fear increases courage. Courage enables growth. Growth fulfills potential. Fulfilled potential creates satisfaction that does not depend on circumstances. This is the real benefit of clicking into action now. Fewer regrets, stronger self-trust, deeper peace, sharper focus, higher energy, clearer direction, wider opportunity, stronger identity, and a future shaped by decision rather than delay. This is not a motivational promise, it is a practical claim supported by behavior and time. Click forward now, act deliberately, stay consistent, and allow discipline to do what motivation never could, quietly, steadily, and permanently change your life. If you stay with this path after clicking forward and do not retreat at the first sign of discomfort, the second wave of benefits begins to activate at a level most people never experience, because this is where action stops being an experiment and starts becoming a lifestyle, and lifestyle changes outcomes permanently rather than temporarily. One of the most powerful claims at this stage is that your mind becomes quieter. Not empty, but ordered, because disciplined action organizes thought the way chaos never can, and an ordered mind wastes less energy on worry, doubt, and imaginary problems. When mental noise reduces, decision-making becomes faster and cleaner, and clean decisions save time, emotional energy, and future regret. You stop revisiting the same choices repeatedly because your standards become clear, and clarity removes hesitation. Hesitation is expensive because it drains momentum, while momentum multiplies effort. With sustained momentum, progress begins to feel inevitable rather than hopeful, and inevitability is calming because it removes emotional dependence from outcomes. You stop asking, "Will this work?" and start asking, "How long will this take?" And that shift alone moves you from uncertainty into ownership. Ownership is a major benefit of disciplined action because it ends victim thinking. And without victim thinking, excuses lose their emotional power. When excuses disappear, responsibility increases, and responsibility handled well builds confidence that is stable rather than fragile. Fragile confidence needs constant reassurance. Stable confidence needs only consistency. Stable confidence allows you to remain composed under criticism, pressure, and delay, which are unavoidable at higher levels of performance. Clicking forward also strengthens emotional regulation because repeated exposure to discomfort teaches your nervous system that stress is survivable, temporary, and often useful. Stress stops feeling like a threat and starts feeling like information, and information improves strategy. Improved strategy increases efficiency. Efficiency reduces wasted effort. Reduced waste conserves energy. Conserved energy can be invested into deeper work, skill development, or recovery. Recovery done with discipline restores rather than weakens momentum. Disciplined rest improves longevity. And longevity is a competitive advantage because most people burn out or quit before compounding fully activates. Compounding is one of the strongest hidden claims of consistent action, because small improvements accumulate silently and then suddenly create visible advantage. To outsiders this looks like luck or talent, but internally it feels like inevitability earned through patience. Patience itself becomes a benefit because you stop rushing outcomes and start respecting process. Respecting process removes panic. Panic leads to shortcuts. Shortcuts weaken foundations. Strong foundations support expansion. Expansion handled with discipline avoids collapse. Collapse usually happens when growth outpaces structure, and disciplined action builds structure before growth demands it. Another benefit at this stage is identity consolidation, because repeated follow-through rewires how you see yourself. You stop identifying as someone who tries and start identifying as someone who completes. Completion builds pride rooted in effort. Pride rooted in effort increases self-respect. Self-respect changes how you show up in rooms, conversations, and decisions. People respond differently to those who carry internal certainty, and that response creates opportunity without chasing. Opportunity begins to align because you are prepared to receive it. Preparation is discipline expressed over time. Disciplined people recognize opportunity faster because they are alert, focused, and capable of acting quickly. Speed with preparation beats speed without direction. Direction prevents wasted effort. Wasted effort leads to frustration. Disciplined effort leads to progress. Progress improves mood naturally, reducing reliance on external validation. Reduced validation seeking creates emotional independence. Emotional independence is one of the most liberating benefits because it allows you to act based on values rather than approval. Values clarified through action become guiding principles rather than abstract ideas. Guiding principles simplify decision-making, reduce internal conflict, and conserve mental energy. Conserved mental energy increases creativity and problem-solving ability. Creativity thrives in disciplined environments because structure provides safety for exploration. As creativity grows, innovation increases, and innovation differentiates you from average performers. Differentiation creates value. Value attracts trust. Trust opens doors. Doors lead to responsibility. Responsibility handled with discipline builds leadership. Leadership rooted in discipline is calm, consistent, and credible rather than loud or reactive. People follow consistency more than charisma. Charisma fades, consistency compounds. Disciplined action trains you to recover quickly from setbacks instead of dramatizing them. Setbacks become data rather than verdicts. Data improves strategy. improved strategy increases success probability. Probability favors persistence. Persistence is the advantage most people underestimate. Quitting resets progress. Persistence compounds it. Disciplined action also reduces regret. Because regret is born from avoidance, not failure. Even when outcomes fall short, effort provides closure and learning. Learning improves future attempts. Improvement increases confidence. Confidence sharpens focus. Focus accelerates mastery. Mastery builds credibility. Credibility attracts opportunity. Opportunity expands options. Options reduce fear. Fear loses control when choices exist. Reduced fear allows bold but calculated decisions. Calculated decisions increase leverage. Leverage creates freedom. Freedom allows intentional living rather than reactive survival. Reactive living drains energy. Intentional living builds satisfaction. Satisfaction rooted in progress is deeper and more stable than pleasure rooted in comfort. Comfort without progress leads to stagnation. Stagnation leads to frustration. Frustration leads to disengagement. Disciplined action breaks this cycle by reintroducing growth. Growth creates hope based on evidence rather than wishful thinking. Evidence strengthens belief. Belief sustains effort. Sustained effort produces results. Results reinforce belief. This upward spiral is the real promise behind continued action. Another benefit is improved physical and mental health, because reduced stress, improved sleep, and a stronger sense of purpose support overall well-being. Purpose organizes effort and reduces burnout. Burnout usually comes from emotional urgency and inconsistent effort, not from steady discipline. Disciplined pacing distributes effort sustainably. Sustainability ensures long-term progress. Long-term progress builds legacy. Legacy is not attention. It is reliability over time aligned with values. Alignment removes inner conflict. Reduced conflict increases peace. Peace improves judgment. Improved judgment leads to better life decisions. Better decisions compound into better outcomes. Better outcomes reinforce trust in yourself. Self-trust reduces hesitation. Reduced hesitation increases speed. Speed applied with direction multiplies impact. Disciplined action also strengthens courage, not dramatic courage, but quiet courage expressed through steadiness. Steadiness allows you to endure criticism, uncertainty, and boredom without abandoning direction. Boredom is a test of commitment, not a sign to stop. Staying through boredom gives you advantage because competition thins out. As competition thins, opportunity expands. Clicking forward also sharpens awareness of time's value, making distractions feel costly. This awareness protects focus. Protected focus accelerates deep work. Deep work produces high-quality results. High-quality results attract recognition. Recognition earned through consistency is stable. Stability supports confidence. Confidence supports leadership. Leadership multiplies impact. Impact gives meaning. Meaning sustains long-term effort. Sustained effort fulfills potential. Fulfilled potential creates satisfaction that does not depend on circumstances. The deeper claim of continued disciplined action is transformation of self-image, because you stop seeing yourself as someone waiting for change and start seeing yourself as someone who creates it. This shift changes how you interpret challenges. Challenges become training rather than threats. Training builds strength. Strength increases capacity. Increased capacity allows you to handle greater responsibility without overwhelm. Responsibility handled well expands influence. Influence increases reach. Reach amplifies contribution. Contribution gives significance to effort. Significance fuels persistence. Persistence compounds results. Compounded results change life trajectory gradually but permanently. Permanence is the difference between temporary motivation and real change. Real change feels quiet but solid. Solid progress does not collapse under pressure. Pressure reveals preparation. Preparation is discipline repeated over time. Disciplined people move differently because they trust their process. Trusting your process removes anxiety about outcomes. Reduced anxiety frees mental space. Freed mental space increases creativity, strategy, and foresight. Foresight improves planning. Better planning reduces risk. Reduced risk increases confidence. Confidence supports decisive action. Decisive action creates momentum. Momentum sustains progress. Progress reinforces identity. Identity stabilizes direction. Direction simplifies life. Simplified life reduces stress. Reduced stress improves health. Better health supports consistency. Consistency compounds benefits further. This compounding effect is the long-term claim behind staying with disciplined action after clicking forward. Fewer regrets, stronger self-respect, clearer priorities, calmer emotions, sharper focus, deeper peace, wider opportunity, greater influence, and a life shaped deliberately rather than accidentally. This is not an exaggerated promise. It is the natural outcome of behavior repeated consistently over time. Continue clicking forward, continue acting with intention, continue honoring your decisions, and allow discipline to quietly deliver what motivation never could: stability, strength, clarity, control, and a future built by choice rather than chance. As you move deeper into this journey and remain committed beyond novelty, comfort, and external applause, the third phase of transformation begins to unfold in ways that are subtle at first but profound over time, because this is where discipline stops feeling like something you practice and starts becoming something you embody, and embodiment changes everything. One of the strongest claims at this stage is that your relationship with time fundamentally shifts, because you stop seeing time as something that escapes you and start treating it as something you invest, and invested time returns value while wasted time returns regret. This shift alone reduces anxiety, because much of modern stress comes from feeling behind, rushed, or outpaced. And disciplined consistency dissolves that feeling by creating steady forward motion. Forward motion restores hope rooted in evidence rather than fantasy. And evidence-based hope is powerful because it stabilizes emotions even when progress feels slow. Slow progress no longer triggers panic, because you understand compounding. And understanding compounding changes patience from weakness into strategy. Patience becomes an active choice rather than passive waiting, and active patience allows you to stay committed without forcing outcomes prematurely. Forcing outcomes leads to burnout, disappointment, and shortcuts, while patience allows foundations to strengthen beneath growth. Strong foundations are invisible but essential, because when opportunity arrives, only prepared individuals can sustain it.